Hey there folks, my name is Michael. I'm a senior naturalist here at Camp Seymour, and today we're going to be doing some nature journaling. This is a really awesome activity that I love to do in my free time. It's something to do to kind of get you outside a little bit. If you have a backyard, feel free to use that. I'm in my own backyard right now, in a manner of speaking, but if you don't have a green space to use, you don't have a yard or anywhere outside to go, that's okay. You can actually still just do this kind of right inside. The point of this though, the most important thing about nature journaling is finding an interesting object to journal. Ideally something that comes from nature. And I got this little friend right next to me. I have no idea what the heck this thing is. It's a plant, I think, but we're gonna figure out some interesting things about it without having any details beforehand. Now people often ask me, Michael, I'm not very good at drawing. Michael, I'm not very good at writing. Can I still be a nature journalist? And I say, absolutely. You don't have to be comfortable at either of those things. You could be a 4,000-pound stegosaurus that somehow survived the Jurassic era, and you could still be a good nature journalist. It'd be hard to pick up pencils because you got those big, meaty lizard hands. You could try it, and I bet it'd still work out okay. The goal for being a good nature journalist is to have good skills of observation. So, we're gonna start with this interesting specimen right here. The first thing that I like to do, I got myself a little notebook right here. You don't gotta use a fancy notebook. If you got computer paper at home, something out of an old school journal, any scrap piece of paper you can find, go ahead and grab that. And then any sort of writing utensil also works great, be that a pen, be that a pencil, maybe a piece of charcoal you found somewhere underneath that squeaky floorboard you keep on the left side of your bedroom. All of this is gonna work for us just fine. So I'm gonna look at this object and I'm gonna start asking myself some questions about how to observe into it. And again, it's helpful to not know what the thing is, because that's gonna pique your curiosity. I don't know what this thing is, and that's gonna make me look at it just a little bit closer. Already, things I'm noticing about it. It's got this kind of weird white texture. I'm wondering why it has this kind of white color. Does it stay that way year round? Does it change that white color from season to season? Or is it something that it only does when it starts to flower in the spring, if it even has flowers in the first place? I start to look at more aspects of it, and these are things I'm gonna start jotting down in this journal that I have right here. Now, the first thing I also like to do is put down the date and the time of year, maybe also the weather. A little sunny right now here in Washington, tiny bit of cloud cover, and we're rocking March 17th, so I'm gonna put that down. Maybe I come back to this plant in a month and things look different. By putting that information down on your journal, on your piece of paper, it can help you remember exactly what time of the year, the season, it might look like this. Now, depending on how big it is, you want to get sort of a rough impression when your journal of that size. Now, I can't quite copy this down on this little white piece of paper, so what I'd probably do is I'd do sort of a rough outline sketch of just the shape of it. After I do that, I might start to include little tiny details. Maybe I just take a single one of these leaves, I put it on top of the journal, and I try to outline it. Again, we're not here to make pretty pictures. If you want to make a really cool artistic picture, you can do that. But the most important thing here is just capturing detail for your focus of observation. So I'm gonna start looking at this plant and start asking myself other questions. How many bunches of leaves might I find on a single stem? Or maybe, do the underside of the leaves look different than the top sides of the leaves, and why is that? If I look at it from a different angle, how does it change? Does the soil feel dry, or does it feel moist around the roots of this plant? These are all kind of questions I'm gonna ask, writing down in my journal as I start to kind of develop a kind of a rough sketch of the outline. And again, this doesn't have to look like a good picture. You're just trying to capture essential details. Once you start doing that to one object, you can start looking around to find others. Maybe make a field guide of all of the plants you can find in your backyard, front yard, or the park that's right down the street from your house. Make a field guide of all of the house plants that your guardians keep inside. Or, if you want to do a little bit more creative things, you also can just look out your window and see if you see any birds. Try to see if you can capture their details and figure out how quickly are they flying? What do they tend to eat? Where are they going? These are questions you can ask to help you really focus in and keep that curiosity going. Instead of just looking at it and going, oh, look, it's a bird. You instead can be a little bit more investigative and curious, trying to figure out maybe what the bird's trying to do. With that being said, friends, I hope you get started on some cool journals, or at least just have some interesting ideas to get some sketches down on paper. Again, it could be anything that you want at this point. But hopefully this gives you some skills and tools. You can look around and become interested in even everyday objects, weird plants that you see, rocks on the ground, even the cones that drop from all of these wonderful evergreen trees. Looking around yourself, taking in these observations and capturing these moments not just so you can have a picture to hold on to, but so you have a connection, a memory that you've made with this interesting object. Stay wonderful, my friends, and I hope you make some cool pictures.